Hey, this is Tara Pritchard, Confidence Coach for Women, and I'm excited for this video for today. Today, I want to focus on when you are having a love-hate relationship with God and you are confused, you are unsure, and you just cannot understand for the life of you what's going on. Right? Sometimes we avoid God. Sometimes when negative things happen or we're going through shit that happens back to back to back, we get into a space and a place where we're like, God, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? I'm a good person. Why am I the only person not married? Or why does this thing keep happening? Or why don't I have money? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? And we get into this love-hate relationship with God. And one thing I need you to understand as you continue on this journey is that the question that you're asking is the wrong question. Why is this happening to me or not happening for me? Instead, I need you to reshape what you're saying in order to really get what you need out of the question that you're asking and to really strengthen your relationship with God. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Instead, you need to say, God, what are you preparing me for? Because whenever there is a delay, that doesn't mean it's denied. Whenever there is, something where it feels disoriented or disorganized or not going in the way you wanted to, that doesn't mean it's denied. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get what it is that you want. That simply means it's something you need to work on. And here's the thing. From the moment that you pray, whenever you pray and you ask God for something or you surrender and let something go to Him, then that always initiates a process that you have to go through in order to get to the other side. Even when you have and you implant in your mind or you write in your journal or you put on your vision board that I desire, I want X, Y, and Z. I want a baby. I want a car. I want a new career. I want this. I want that. There is a process that you have to go through in the middle before you get to what you have. So you might want something over here, but what you have is over here. So the thing is, what happens in the middle of that? That's the same thing when it seems like all hell breaks loose and like a bunch of shit just keeps happening. I know for me, in just the last 2 weeks alone, right? I had to get something fixed in my house. Then my brake light went out. Then my tire was flat. Like, back to back to back. And it's like, why is this happening to me? And why is that happening now? But it's like, that's the wrong question we need to ask. Instead, ask yourself, how are you preparing me for my next level, for what's to come? Because in the middle of the thing happening, whether it's good or not, between you wanting something or you wanting something to be resolved and you actually having it or being resolved on this other side, in the middle, as I mentioned earlier, that's what I like to call the gap. It is the gap. It's the same thing that Megan Good and Devon Franklin, they wrote a whole book called The Wait, right? Waiting for your spouse to come and like not having sex, like that period is called the wait. But the wait is something that we do in all areas of our life between when we desire something, actually us having it, right? There is a wait because you don't become a fierce, confident, powerful woman by just snapping your fingers and automatically becoming this powerful woman or this confident woman who never has to go through anything, right? Because the experiences that you go through, the wounds that you have created, right, over time, because you've healed from things, if you're doing the inner work, those things can then be turned into wisdom, but you have no wisdom as a woman. As an older woman can't have any wisdom if everything's handed to her on a silver platter and she doesn't go through anything, right? So I want you to remember this. The process, right, is the price that you pay for to get to the promise. God promises you the desires of your heart, but the process is the price that you have to pay, right, in order for you to get the promise, right? And the process, again, is in the middle, right? It's between you praying, unsure, uncertain, or that thing happening and it being resolved, or they're getting a solution, or you getting that baby, or you having a husband, or that money coming to you on the other side of you having. And the process and the gap, right? You have to go through that. Nobody is exempt from that. And I talked about that on my last webinar, my Heal My Heart webinar, even talking about Beyonce. And I know a lot of people say she's overrated, but the reason why we have Lemonade, we have 444, is because Beyonce and Jay-Z, they went through the process They had to deal with all of that, right? They took all their wounds, turned them into wisdom for us to consume through the vehicle of music, right? Because, right, that and the promise was for them to get to this other side of their marriage, to have their twins, to be where they are now, to have the success they had with those 2 albums. They had to go through the process, the healing process. They had to confront themselves and confront that before presenting it to us. You know, it didn't happen and then they presented it to us automatically. No, they had to go through the process. And the process, right, is the price you pay for the promise. So I need you to remember this when it comes to being in this state, in this place where you're asking God, why is this happening to me? God is doing one of 3 things. I call this the gap. He might be growing you. That's the G. He could be altering you. That's the A. Or he could be positioning you. That's the P. So if he is growing you, that means that he is trying to prepare you for something in which you need to grow into the capacity to be, whether that's a wife, whether that's a leader, whether that's to be an entrepreneur and have your own business. He has to grow you into that capacity. So he might give you an experience that might not feel comfortable, but he has to put you there. For the A, that is altering. So say you go to a seamstress, you need her to alter your dress really quick, move a couple of pieces. Maybe there's something with you he needs to alter. That usually means something internally he needs to heal, that you need to let go and let him heal you. That means you're good, but there could be a couple of things you're missing or a couple of things you need to work on that need to be altered in order for you to be prepared for your next level. And then lastly is the P, is the positioning. Usually, I feel as though positioning comes when you have experienced a great loss or a great gain. So maybe you just had a baby, maybe you went through a divorce, maybe a family member died, maybe you lost your job, right? And that is an excellent place where God is actually positioning you. You're asking, why is this happening to me right now? But that's an excellent place in which God is positioning you for your next level. So think about, am I at the G, the A, the P, or a combination of all 3? And how can I now use that wisdom to better perceive what it is that I'm going through?